Excellent. Good evening, everyone, and good day, everyone, wherever you are and with us this evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Cybersecurity Mentoring Group, a group where we share, we learn, we connect with other professionals. Essentially, we invite people who have had tons of experience in the field to come speak to our community. And we are a growing community of cybersecurity professionals. Some are already in the trade, while some are planning their path into the profession. They essentially are looking for guidance on how they can make their way into cybersecurity. I haven't heard that cybersecurity is the new oil. Today we've invited, as we always do, we meet twice in a month, fortnightly. We bring in professionals to to help us untie some of the difficult provide clarity in some of the difficult journeys in cybersecurity. And so today we have also invited a very senior member of the community, and we are grateful for Maman who is giving us his time this evening. But before we start this session off, I just want to speak also to a program that we are running in the mentoring group. So we thought it's good for people to have a very basic foundation in cybersecurity. So a month ago, we initiated a cybersecurity masterclass for beginners, and we're basically looking at the 5 domains you're seeing on your screen. We called out for a facilitator, and we got professionals who are willing to provide their expertise to the community. And then we also put up interest, people that are interested in joining, and we, as our last time that I closed it, I initially announced that we had 84, but some people reached out, and currently we have 93 people that would be going into the masterclass. It's for a two months period, and we would just want to lay the foundation of information security or cybersecurity so that they can then decide from there how they want to navigate their path. So this is a masterclass. We'll kick off by next week, Thursday, and Thursday and Saturdays for roughly about 2 hours each. We have 9 facilitators essentially. This is 93 candidates that have been selected. We have 9 facilitators, different professionals with depth of experience in cybersecurity across different sectors and also different geographies. So I believe that it's going to be a very, very insightful sessions for the people who are trying to start their journey in cybersecurity. And for facilitators, again, this is purely voluntary. They've just decided that they want to give back to the community, because this is how I believe that we can grow more people to join the members of the defenders of the universe, if you like it that way. And so we are recruiting more people into the trade so that we can keep our world safe. All right. Again, thank you for joining us. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome, and thank you so much for Maman for accepting our invitation. You know, when I reached out to Maman, I was saying we're a growing community and we would like to invite you when we are bigger. And he said no, that he would like to contribute at this time, and we do not take that for granted. And so I think I should get into the conversation straight away without wasting time, because 1 hour is short, but we want to maximize that time. And I don't want to speak too much. Every platform that we had, I try to share your profile for people to go read. I've not finished reading myself because it's loaded, and I would just want you to just take take over the session, and I will just allow you to then share your screen. I'll make you a host so that you can then share your screen.
Okay, good.
All right, you
So,
now a host, so you can go ahead.
Now I can, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me start. Let's say with an event that we all experience. Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Yes, I can.
Okay,
It's up now.
so it's up, right?
Yes.
So you recognize this kind of screen, right? The screen of death, as it's called by IT professionals. But mostly, you should remember July 1924. Do you remember it? No?
I do.
you do, Vika, right? So a routine software update of the Microsoft's Windows suite went wrong and just put down hundreds of companies worldwide. In hospitals, elective surgeries were cancelled. Millions of passengers stranded in airports. And this is exactly our topic today, the power of one link in the supply chain. Okay? The question is not if you are going to be impacted, it's when. Today we are using software. Some of them we have no idea what is their composition. It means that the only thing that is left for organizations is to get prepared. And resilience is the only way to survive. So with this reminder, so this is me, okay, Maman. On this slide, you have a link to my LinkedIn, to my personal website, to my Substack page where you can find articles about cybersecurity and my company's link as well. And you have a QR code here to provide feedback after the session when you will receive the material. Okay, so a little about me, and if you want, we can keep the conversation going after this session as well. Let's say my specialism is really cyber and digital risks. I'm supporting organizations for more than 2 decades in that area, working with the giant like Michelin, GSK, Helion, where I led IT audit function and some other responsibilities as well. I have published a few papers on artificial neural networks, audit, leadership paradox, and some other, and you may see them here and there on LinkedIn. Now, let's start here about the core. Business resilience versus cyber resilience. When I received the invite, it was about key metrics for business resilience. And then I have to clarify how both of them are interacting. So I wanted to share with you some material from Oxford University, which is called the 6S Framework for Organizational Resilience. It means that resilience is a whole. Self-resilience is about how leaders cope with resilience. Strategy is about aligning an organization to be sure that it meets its purpose. We will come back to it later when we will address assets. Structures is about how an organization organizes itself. Okay? Social is that an organization is not alone. It's in a social community, I mean, if you look at what happened in the pandemic, I will come back to this example back and forth. The social dimension of the pandemic was very strong, with charities supporting people, with neighbors supporting others. Supply chain is about being sure that your third party providing services for you to achieve your purpose are resilient as well. Systems, and system is where cybersecurity resides. Systems are component of expertise that are brought into the company. So in the link, you can go on the site and see how you can, what it's about. But let me just share a quote from a mentor of mine, okay, who said that if I have to describe the difference between business resilience and cyber resilience, he said, business resilience is learning to dance in the rain. And cyber resilience is making sure the roof doesn't collapse while you do. You see that, which was quite somehow funny. So business resilience clearly is about agility, while cyber resilience is about integrity, ensuring that your business asset stands. Okay. So this said, let's move, as you can see here, so making it shorter, resilient business thrive in uncertainty. They are flexible, okay? They adapt. Many organizations, when COVID strike, become digital. They transform their business model to be sure that they can operate. This is business resilience. But on the other side, by being digital, they have to create structures to reinforce the system so that in case of disruption, they can endure. Okay? So why do metrics matter? Metrics for an organization are not just numbers. Okay, they have to tell a story about. In our case, in cyber resilience, you have to tell the story about preparedness. Are the organization prepared to respond in case of disruption? What are the vulnerabilities in the organization? Vulnerabilities are not only vulnerability in systems, but vulnerability in people, the leaders, in processes, and how agile they are. And as I used to say, cybersecurity is no longer an IT concern. It's more a business concern. It's a business enabler. So the metrics should communicate to the business how the organization stands technology-wise in case of disruption, how IT can respond. So why do we use metrics? Because of course, you know this quote: you can't control what you can't measure. So it means that if you don't measure, you are guessing. And in an organization, guessing is not part of the business. You cannot build a strategy on guessing. So, another thing in IT, because I've been through this many times, there are a lot of vanity metrics that create noise. This kind of, oh, we scanned 10,000 systems and we did a good job, or we blocked 50,000 attacks last month, or 97 of vulnerabilities are patched. So all this gives a kind of a sense of security. These guys are serious, but really, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you can, in case of an issue, you can respond. So it means that while you are communicating on these vanity metrics, you are just creating noise, and then there's a time where you will come to bring serious information. No one will be able to listen. You have to create credibility by avoiding vanity metrics. Then the real metrics here about resilience. We will go through few of these metrics, but what they should tell the organization is how good are we in detecting threats, in recovering in case of disruption, and how our control environment is effective. And we should tell them from the business perspective, how good are we to detect incidents that can impact revenue, operations, and reputation? You see, and because not all incidents are created equal, we need to prioritize them based on business impact. So it means that every single asset in the organization should be linked to one of the three: revenue, operations, and reputation. So now, I already mentioned what matters. Okay, let's go ahead on what an organization looks like. So this slide that I called purpose, mission, and strategic alignment is, I have it for years. You see, every organization can fit in this picture. Every organization has a mission. And let me put the laser pointer here. Its mission to perform and achieve its mission. It provides different services supported by assets and by processes and operations here. Okay, you see the assets here are people, information, technology, and facility. And by looking at it in this way, now we understand why the 6S framework of the Oxford 6S framework makes sense to consider resilience as a whole. And that's only this that explain as well why we look at metrics or revenue, operation, and reputation wise. Then one element that is fundamental in resilience is business impact analysis. I wanted to share with you a few elements of it. Independently of what you are doing, what is the process you are operating in, whether in IT or not. And as long as you work for a company, you need to identify and assess the potential effects of every type of event on activities. The effect should be either financial, security, regulatory, legal, contractual, reputation. All this should be considered. Then you have two key processes in this case: identifying the critical asset and have a comprehensive risk assessment. On the previous picture, you have seen that the assets and the operation and how they interact. So here, you need to go deep into the interaction between the asset and how they support the operations. That's the only way for you to build a strategy that can support your business. And the last one is the 3 steps. First, you identify the critical services and associated processes. You might have heard about DORA, the European regulation for financial institutions. It's all about this. In your identification of asset and risk assessment, you focus on critical services and the assets that support them. Then the processes that are necessary to run the operations. Have in mind the picture is still. You identify the need of resources for operations, and you identify the recovery priorities. Because if something bad happened, you need to understand the sequence of your recovery. You need to start by some systems before going to others, and all this should be organized. But we all know, because we come from tech environments. I mean, each system is assessed independently. If you look at the business continuity and the DRP supporting it, disaster recovery plan, which is the IT element of a business continuity plan, it focuses on one system alone. All the systems are tested alone in isolation, but never in a whole process. It means that we need to think differently when we are assessing our preparedness to resilience. I'm struggling to pronounce this word. The first one the two first ones that are important time to detect and time to respond. So these metrics, as you see, the names are self-explanatory. It's how fast you know something wrong is happening. This is the time to detect. And how quickly can you act to respond to what's happening? That's it. And the two numbers that you will have, when put together, will tell you what are the window damage in your organization. Depending how quickly you act, you will reduce it. And depending how fast you detect, you can reduce it as well. So it means that you need to capture the speed of incident detection and containment. Also, it needs to reflect operational agility in crisis. When something bad happened, these two will tell you how agile your organization is. Then the common ones, recovery time and recovery points, objectives that we will see in more detail. It's saying, after an incident, how fast can you go back to operations? Or how much data can you afford to lose? Okay, so you see, these are what in cyber resilience are called the business lifelines. Really, this is fundamental. If you have your systems back and you cannot have the data back, it's just a waste of effort. The one that I put here as a control effectiveness, operations are not done in isolation. They are done in an environment where you have interaction between processes, between assets, and you have a control environment that help you identify how things can go wrong and how you can bring them back to the level that you expect. Giving access to people to what they are entitled to. Also being able to create an environment when you can recover. It means that these control effectiveness metrics will tell you whether they are effective. Okay, they block, detect, and contain a real threat. A firewall is a control, for example. Okay, or you are just ticking boxes. This one thing. So one thing that I want to highlight here is the return on controls. If your controls are effective, you should be able to say how they reduce your risk exposure and the likelihood over time. So patch and vulnerability remediation, these are type of them, are controls. Cyber risk exposure is one of them. You have third-party elements. You have security culture. All these are control effectiveness metrics. The other thing is that, okay, you don't look back. Imagine you are driving forward, okay? Your metrics should tell you not only what happened, how it happened, but what is happening in the future. Okay? You need to look ahead. If you are familiar with project management, that's how project performance is captured. What are the performance indexes that tells you are doing well, cost-wise, planning-wise, resource-wise, all this together. So that's what it is. What it means is that when you assess risk and you are quantifying them, you need also to be able to predict where they will land over time. Of course, you have to update them over time, but still you have to do this to have this forward-thinking approach. You need to look at the threat intelligence, for example, with the data that you have. I think you may be familiar with technical debt. if you have older system, many obsolete systems, it means that you are at risk, or your anomaly detection systems can tell you, oh, something wrong is happening, and then here are the trends that help you to proactively implement actions. Then the other thing is that you should not be drawn in data, okay? You need to focus on simplicity. It should be just straightforward. If metrics are linked to strategic goals like revenue, operations, and reputation, then it should be straightforward for the business to tell you what is the impact. And one thing that I want to mention here is that compliance and customer trust are key for every business, independently in which business you are. So it means that reputation, which is at a high level, um, uh, aggregating compliance and customer trust, is very important, and you may be able to measure it in this way. And you need to speak the language of the business. Okay? You need to focus on elements that drives action. Okay? What matters for the organization. Okay? So here, simplicity allow to have the right level of data to decide. Clarity enables speed, and focus drives action. That's what you need to have in mind continuously. Okay, and you need when you're using metrics also to show trends. Use dashboards specific to your audience. Everyone should have or may be able to get the information in the format that they expect for them to make decisions. And they need to understand whether the risk exposure is increasing, decreasing, or plateauing and is still. Okay? So now,
sorry, sir.
this is yeah.
I want to sorry, there are people waiting for me to admit them, but because I made you a host, I couldn't see them. So I want to make it a multiple hosting so that
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, no worries. Go ahead.
Let me do some.
You have to trust your technology, man. Are we good? You are on mute.
You can share the screen now. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So okay, tell me when you can see the screen.
Yes, I can see the screen now. Thank you.
Okay. So this quote from Yogi Berra, who is an American baseball player. He said, in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. In practice, there is. So why is this quote? I love this quote because first, if you look, let's say, let me, okay, yeah, okay, so let me, good. In theory, we have few metrics here, but just I mean, I mentioned some specific metrics for cyber resilience. So these one are operational metrics that are used in technology. Service level objectives, of course, if you have a system running, you need to define what is the level of service you want it to provide. what is the performance that you expect in terms of availability, usability, and all this. The recovery point objective, I will come back to it. It's about data. The MTD, RTO, and WRT, I will come back to them. Let me just move ahead. So here, let's say I put an incident over time, okay? You see here, stage one is business as usual. Everything is going well, okay? And then there's a disaster at stage two, okay? The time between the disaster and the stage one, the RPO tells you how good you are in your recovery, because the stage one should be the last backups that you did. Okay, I will come back to that as well. So as you can see here, let me show you here. Everything is doing well at stage one. I did a backup of my system. Okay, it means that between stage one and stage two, when the disaster happened, I didn't have any backup. It means that all this time, everything that was produced as new data here is lost. Okay. Then, from stage two, from the disaster, it means that the time when the system went down, to stage three, which is the recovery of the system, so they are running. It's called the RTO, the recovery time objectives. Okay. It means that between stage one and stage three, I lost my data and my system were down. Okay. When I recover the system at stage three, they are operating, but still, in theory, everything should be okay here. Okay. I hand it over to the business, who test it and then resume their normal business activity at stage four. Okay. This time here is called the work recovery time. This is a theory. Okay. So let's see what's happening in practice. Okay. In practice, what's happening? So you see the whole picture. Here, you remember the RPO. I lost data here. Okay. It means that when I will recover my system, the data that I will provide to my business teams will be the data from the last consistent backup. Okay. If the RPO of a system is 8 hours, it means that the business teams accept to lose 8 hours of work and start over again. Okay. I'm mentioning it because it's important at the end. Once you recover your system during this time period here, at this point here, okay, the systems are up with the data which is from the last consistent backup. Then you need to provide the business a system that is running properly so that they can resume operations. But in practice, they cannot resume operation properly because they still have this time, the RPO time and the RTO time, where perhaps they have an alternate way of working where they produce data that is not in the system still. And then to recover here, the work recovery time is incremental, and this is usually what tech teams are not factoring. If you look at a DRP, you will never see mention of double work recovery time in an incremental approach, because while you give them, people are starting to use the systems, there will still be some data that is outdated sometime, that may be outdated, and it will be hard for them, not really hard, but it will be a challenge for them to recover normal operations immediately. It means that these steps here that you can see is an incremental recovery as it's happening in practice. Depending on how resilient you are, this time can be short or can be big. Okay, so you see how it is. If we pick up the RPO and the RTO, we are in the recovery side. When we add this WRT in an incremental way, we are in the resilience element. Okay. So I can answer to some questions if you want me to go back to this one later. No. Okay. So here, this is an integrated framework that I built, but I'm not going to elaborate a lot about this one, as you will. I will share a document with you where it's depicted and it can help you. One thing that I can say here is that to have an integrated resilience, you need to have an integrated governance, integrated processes, and also prepare for an integrated maturity journey. Resilience is coming in let's say broadly in 4 areas. Strategic resilience, where it's more about how the board, the senior leaders, the key business units are operating, how the strategy is put in place in an organization, how all the different business units and operations are strategically aligned to deliver the purpose of the organization. Operational resilience is a resilience where we will need to go back to operation in an isolated way for some time, but still it's about recovery, about third-party risk, this kind of risk. And cultural resilience is about people, environment, where the organization is operating, the social dimension of this resilience as well. Crisis management, for example, is one of them. Technology resilience, of course, is about cybersecurity as a core, or cyber resilience, cyber defenses, data protection, and technology and governance, risk and compliance, GRC from tech perspective, kind of thing with metrics. So all this I will provide you a document where you can go back to it as you want, and it will be shared in the group. So now to make it let's say short here. Resilience is really about how you can bounce back in a disruption faster than your competitors. You remember COVID, everyone went down at the same time with lockdown. Some recovered faster because they were able to implement some SaaS system very quickly. They were agile enough to change their process and speed up their operation. Some just shut down and some collapse. That's what it's about. So resilience is a competitive edge, of course. So one last word here about some of you who are aiming to enter cybersecurity field. Of course, you have a lot of resources advising how to get into cybersecurity. There are a few things that I want to share with you. First, usually you are recommended to go for certifications. Yeah, it can be. Certifications are good, but I mean, you should have a purpose linked to these certifications. Okay, you need to start with fundamentals, understand the basics. You see, every time that I start chatting with someone about technology, I always start with information security and the triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You see, the basics, and then we go ahead. During the discussion, we did a little bit more and more. Okay, there are many free resources, free classes that you can take, and you need to choose a clear path. Cybersecurity is not a job; it's a domain. Okay, it's as complex and wide as technology. If you said I'm in technology, I mean, it can be everything. So it means that in cybersecurity, you need to look at what you are targeting. Are you looking for offensive security, GRC, audit and assurance, this kind of thing? Because depending on what you are looking for, the road ahead will not be the same. The other thing, of course, I mentioned certifications. Okay, the value of certifications is that it tells that you know the basics. Okay, even if you don't have the experience, you have the basics. But the certification is coming for with some requirements. To me, the most important one is maintenance of certifications. You have to provide some credit to keep it. So these credits are the ones that will help you grow, because you will, if you are wise, you focus on your weaknesses, you build on them, and then you report the CPE and you carry on this way. On every cycle, you reinforce your skills and join the communities as well. Okay, and you need to embrace continuous learning. Since few years now, you need to develop your soft skills as well. Communication, critical thinking are key. Okay, you need to understand very quickly how you can convey a message to a non-tech person clearly. Okay? You should be able to speak the language of business, and find a mentor. It can help. Okay. So here I share two links. One is about an article on Medium, which is very good if you want to go deeper about metrics. And the second one is the Cyber Resilience Compass from World Economic Forum, who can give you a strategic view of cybersecurity and help you identify which domains you can focus on in your journey. Okay, so I was lucky to contribute to the last one, the Cyber Resilience Compass. It was issued last April. So that's all from me. Okay, and thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions now.
All right, thank you so much.
Let me stop sharing.
Thank you. I think I have, there's someone's hand up. His hand is up, and I have a question in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
So the question is, what are the major metrics to measure performance in a SOC environment?
Okay, it depends. Let's say it depends, because a SOC, I mean, you don't have a kind of a formal SOC. A SOC is Security Operation Centers. Okay, so it means that Security Operation Center is a place where all the operations, all the metrics that relate to operations are centralized. Okay? It's kind of it's like a dashboard in a car. Okay? You have thousands of different type of metrics. It's on you. It's on you to see what you want. But I want to, if I want to do it, okay, I will focus first on the metrics that I shared here. Time to detect, time to respond, uh, RPO, RTO, okay, and some and focus on the control effectiveness side. The only rule that I can see here is that going back to information security, depending on your business, depending on what is critical to your organization. Okay, uh, uh, in some organization, confidentiality is key. In some others, it's integrity. In others, it's availability. You see, imagine you are in healthcare. Okay, what is key in healthcare first is confidentiality. You keep your research data and your customers' data confidential. Access on the need-to-know basis, for example, and least privilege. Everyone who access should be granted the minimum access for that they need to operate. That's it, no more. Integrity, because if you develop a drug, okay, before it goes to the market, you have clinical trials. Clinical trials will show the real value that you are bringing, the effectiveness of your drug in a test, in a formal test environment. Okay, so these data from the clinical trials should not be modified by any person. Just it's not kind of someone can do, some other cannot. No, it cannot be modified. That's what the regulator analyzed to give you the right to uh, uh, issue the drug to public. You see, so it depends. It means that depending on which one, if confidentiality is key or integrity or availability, you look at the some metrics that are important in that space, and you use them for your SOC. Does it answer the question?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
best way for you to know what metrics you need, talk to your business. Don't work as a tech guys as we do it in old days. Go and talk to business. Don't waste your time capturing things that they don't care about.
Thank
You
you.
see?
I think you got the answer. There's another person's hand is up. Izuna, you want to ask your question?
Okay, yes, it's kind of good evening, first of all, everyone. Thank you so much for organizing this session, and thank you to our presenter. So my question is to the presenter.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, in your experience, when it comes to business continuity and disaster recovery, to ensure we run a simulation to see that business continuity is at 100%. You would agree with me that most times the workflow is we have on-prem servers and infrastructures, and you have maybe your disaster recovery site on the cloud. Now, my question would be, what would be your recommendation in your years of experience? Do you recommend, while a team is trying to perform a test to see its business continuity strength and to see how quickly the business can switch over, can continue business, do you suggest a shutdown of on-prem infrastructure, a total shutdown, so as everyone can route maybe to the disaster recovery site, maybe in the cloud, or in another site? So do you suggest that, or do you suggest the first primary infrastructure should still be up and running and everyone switches to the disaster recovery site? So which do you ensure, which do you recommend to ensure a proper testing is carried out?
Okay. So, if you want to test the recovery center, okay, you have to do it really ruthlessly, real time. But you don't do it blindly. You define, there's a scenario, and you know the process. There are some steps. You do it carefully and all this. That's right. Okay. But even when you do it, don't do it just step one. It's this kind of thing. Don't. Okay. Okay. Every test scenario should reflect a known incident. Imagine you have let's say financial systems. You have an ERP. Okay. Don't test your ERP by testing if a user can access, because I have seen that, or if the VPN is accessible to support team to access to the system. No, do it. Have a real scenario. If the scenario is testing the ERP, if it can run, then you don't forget that if you want to use the disaster recovery site directly for business operation, you have to ensure that the data that are there are synchronized with the initial ones. Because it's not, for the sake of the test, you cannot just send people on another test where they will carry on for, let's say, for a whole day, putting data in another system and then have to come back and do the same thing as well. Okay? So this is one thing. The other thing is that it depends on the type of recovery. If your systems are mirrored, then that's fine. Okay, you switch. Let's say if you are on, if you are, you have your systems in the cloud. Okay, you can just automatically launch. It's done by Azure, GCP, Amazon. All are doing it automatically. They can just go and test your recovery live while you are operating, and then get back to the other system. They will be duplicating, routing the transaction to the recovery site and coming back to the principal site without any problems. Okay. But you need to be careful on what you want to do. It's not about on-premise or in the cloud. It doesn't matter really. It's about being sure that your scenario is relevant to the context. It describes a scenario, it's an incident that can happen. Okay, of course, you cannot predict everything, but you should have some actual ones. If it's the last week before financial closure, financial statement closure, you test the scenario. Just in case it's obvious, they will tell you what they expect. You see, this kind of thing. Okay, but you need to have an actual incident to test, and if the data is not synchronized, is not mirrored, then you can do it on the other side. But you cannot do it on the other side with all the business guys who are going there. You need to select few people from the business who will operate on that system to assess that, yes, we did the transactions, the data that we had are relevant, integrity is maintained. Okay, this is key. Don't forget the integrity piece. the test is not only to assess the systems, it's also to assess the integrity of the information that you have before the disruption. So you test the integrity of the data that are the output of the test itself. And then you can say, okay, my test is relevant, and that's it. Does it answer the question?
Yes, thank you so much, Ibrahim. You've really touched some aspects which I think has restructured my thinking with respect to business continuity and disaster recovery. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have any other question yet. So, but there's something I want to just maybe get your further thought on. Is around the three elements you mentioned and said when you're building your metrics, make sure that there's a revenue. I think you mentioned revenue, operation, and reputation. And my question is, must or should they tick all those boxes, or you just pick one or two of them and you move on?
No, you don't have any. Don't have any choice. Independently of your business, first you are doing it for money. You expect money. You sell something. Okay. Even when you give it for free, let's pick up charities, for example. They have a business. Okay. One is the most important for a charity. It's the reputation. Okay. If you have a shop, you sell a product, it's revenue, but you always have something. Okay. But you need to be clear about what you expect revenue wise, what you expect reputation wise, and what you expect operation wise. Operation wise, of course, you expect that the people that you hire, your employees, are good at their job. They don't waste time. They do the job. They are everything is right the first time. Okay. And then they are happy. Okay, so I mean, it means that your company is virtual, really. It doesn't happen in real life, but anyway. But operations are going well. On the other side, reputation is about compliance. I mentioned. Okay, there are regulations everywhere. You have to abide to the regulations. Okay, if you have customers, if you want to keep your business running, selling your product or service to your customers, they need to trust you. If they don't trust you, your business is dead. Okay? So it means that these three are always there, independently on how you pick them. Okay? It depends to who you talk in the same company. If you talk to the CFO will focus on revenue. If you talk to legal, they will talk about compliance. It means reputation. If you talk to business development guys, they will say, hey, customer trust is the most important thing. It's still a reputation. Okay. If you go to the head of tech or to HR, they will say, yeah, operations are better because we want to have the best people to operate our systems so that we can make the most to our systems. Okay. But I mean, you cannot choose one and say, okay, I will focus on reputation or on this one. No, it comes with your business. It's not a choice.
Yeah.
And every business is regulated. Every business needs customers. Okay. Every business needs money. And every business need to sell something. Okay, so it means that the three, the revenue, operation, and reputation, are always there. I focus on this one because there's a lot of noise. Every time that you speak to someone, you have 5, you have 7, you have 12 elements for this. All this is bullshit. You have 3. Okay, if you focus on these 3, everything that you cannot classify, put it in operation somewhere. It will find a place, or in reputation, there will be always a place for someone to there. Okay, so that's what I have been doing for more than 2 decades. Where everything. That's why it's always good to go back to information security confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Once these are clear, you can link them. Okay. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't have any other question from my side, and I don't have any question in the chat. And I think our time is fast spent. I think we have one more slide. What's that now? I think we physically are done today. Let me see if I just put up the announcements for our master class. Give me a second. Let me share my screen. I think. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. We are done. Yes, we are done. First I want to okay, there's a question. Okay, it's not a question, it's an appreciation for your brilliance. Thank you there for the comment. So today at least this is it's supposed to be 28th of June. Well, successfully, I think this is the last, end of the first half of the year. And yeah, so we have interesting speakers ahead from 12th of July, that's next week, next edition, till I think till September ending. We've already filled the slot for speaker, and you can look forward to those editions. And if you want to follow up on the conversation today and also some of the materials that Mama said he will share with us, you can catch up on our group, LinkedIn group, and they will be able to pick up on this and also the previous conversations. Also, you can check on our LinkedIn, YouTube page for previous edition of similar recording, and you will be able to at least see a lot of the things that we're doing. Thanks everyone. Can we still join the masterclass? Oh, the masterclass is officially closed, but only you can chat me and see if there's anything we can do, but it's officially closed for registration. And we are starting basically on Thursday. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. We want to appreciate Maman for his advice, and again, like I mentioned, we are building the community, and we thank you that you didn't mind, even though we're not many, but you didn't mind to spend your 1 hour plus with us, and we appreciate it so much. And hopefully we will come back, and by then we'll probably have a fuller house. Thank you so much. Yeah. We will continue the conversation on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have to start somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for bringing people together.
All right. Thank you so much.
And helping us to hand over to the next generation as well.
Yes, very important. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Thank you.